I've got it! The previously ons will stop once Marvel has wasted a collective 5 years of my life, giving me a greater appreciation for those who lived through the blip. Oh, shit. That takes us up to the year 2364. Fuck. Why do TV shows think that showing a character hearing a suspicious noise but choosing to dismiss it is any less ridiculous than the character just not hearing said noise? So he gets to turn his cane into an axe staff just for finding Amit's game piece? Show us some weird level ups. Layla acts like this is some kind of burial at sea and that she doesn't just submerge him in the scummy surface runoff that's found its way into this ancient Egyptian tomb. Also, Layla's seen some pretty crazy shit at this point, so wouldn't she at least think about preserving Mark's body, knowing the shenanigans Khonshu might be able to pull to revive him? And it's pretty stupid to leave behind the one thing that could potentially lead someone back to the Ushabti in Arthur's possession. It's an entire distinct pantheon of stupidity unto itself to leave said thing with someone who has already been returned from the brink of death once before, while said person's companion is still at large. Of course, the above is made totally moot because Layla doesn't even use the damn thing to track Harrow. She just follows them out of the damn tomb and gets into the car with them. How do checkpoints even work on this road? People seem to be traversing this territory in every which way they please. Come to think of it, why did they approach the checkpoint at all instead of just continuing on through this well-traveled desert?
You need to show us your soul.
The righteous ray of reckoning was omnidirectional, so why didn't it cast its periwinkle wave over Layla? Purple, 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 purple staff, brown suit, judging all the people rolled up at the checkpoint, judging all the people falling around the people, stealing purple from the people falling around the people, cause my evil purple steeple people.
This is the face of a good man.
Said without seeing his face.
You don't need this anymore.
Hey, that's my line.
Don't do it. Layla, wait. I am the goddess Taweret.
Yeah, never mind. That's not weird at all, and in no way worthy of anything more than a slight sideways glance. Onwards! Layla's standing right there in the middle of these assholes, and no one even notices. They may be good people according to Amit, but I'm wondering if a more strict criteria should be followed in terms of recruitment. Maybe more of a focus on situational awareness. Does this staff come with a f***ing instruction manual? How does Harrow know this will open up the pyramid?
Why? Harrow.
That's your who, not your why.
This doesn't need to happen.
Yes, please immediately cut away from the epic battle of the gods. I'm sure this showdown will hold absolutely zero interest for any of us, you rotten crypt teases.
This is all so avoidable.
Indeed. All the confusing character motivations were avoidable, and I'm happy you've come around to my point of view. All the avatars die, and since the only one we hear from is Taweret, we must assume that the rest of the gods were like, oh, well, you win some, you lose some. Really undercuts how important any of this is, and makes you wonder why Amit and Khonshu are so invested. So, to trap these gods in these statues, it takes a ceremony with 5 avatars casting a spell while holding hands, but to release them from the statue, you just spike it on the ground in the end zone? Also, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to infer that the Ushabti has to be smashed inside this specific end zone in order to free the Kinder surprise inside. If not, why wouldn't Harrow have destroyed it as soon as he got his hands on it? And if so, why aren't these pesky gods imprisoned in the Ushabti and then yeeted outside so there's zero chance of exactly this situation ever happening? Why keep them in the one place they can be freed by a passing breeze?
Your scales lack balance.
Kind of a dick thing to say to the person that just freed you. Imagine if the first thing your boss said to you when they got back from vacation was, you suck and you're a bad person.
They lack balance because of what lies ahead of you. What lies ahead of you is your service to me.
Now imagine if your boss said, you suck and you're a bad person because you work for me. Also, this might be a weird question, but I'm beginning to wonder if anyone bothered to check if the scales have been properly calibrated.
Because you won't win against Harrow and Amit alone.
I'll take my chances.
I understand not wanting to work with Khonshu, but the alternative is taking your chances fighting a god, all alone, with only your unfounded optimism at your side.
Khonshu, time has been cruel to you.
I'd say he's a fucking skeleton. But the writer should know that when I point these things out, you get 1 sin. And when you point them out, but don't provide an explanation, you get 3 sins. Not my call. I'm only a humble avatar for Cindy, the goddess of snark and protector of the TV Syntheon.
Leave here, and you can't return.
Show thinks this is an ultimate sacrifice, but they've been breaking more rules in the afterlife than Bill and Ted, so I'm pretty sure Mark just figures there's probably a workaround.
So I get to go on to eternal peace.
Before you get too excited about eternal peace, think carefully about wandering around this wheat forever.
You saved me.
Blip.
I'm throwing us down. Just go.
Yeah, but why? Did your leg fall asleep? You were frozen for way less time than Steven, so I don't think you should be taking this long to thaw. Because this is Marvel, of course, no one's powers are explained or quantified, but I think it's safe to say these two gods should have more in their arsenal to try before having to resort to bashing into one another.
I choose obliteration over mercy.
Other than ghosting yourself out of this place, which is exactly what he does when he realizes Mark is back, was that not always an option? I kind of remember removing sins for Marvel being brave enough to kill off a main character and then something about promising to resend them if they didn't follow through. I apologize if all that feels a bit inconsistent, but if the show is going to be vague with what is and isn't reality, I'm going to be vague with what is and isn't sinnable.
How's this deal gonna work?
You would negotiate now? With so much at stake?
Khonshu would be Amun-Ra at TVSins.
I will release you both. You have my word.
I'm sure the show would never rely on subtle distinctions in language to allow Khonshu to keep his word and for the moon knighting to continue. I'm sure that would never happen.
Now, how the heck are we gonna get to Cairo?
You forget, little worm. I am still the god of the night sky.
Yes, but how does that work in the middle of the day? He's either accelerating the rotation of the Earth to make it night prematurely, or he's accelerating the passage of time itself. Either would seem to beget some unintended side effects.
We need to imprison Ahmed in a mortal form.
A body instead of a statue.
If a person is being used as a vessel, similar to a statue, how does this make Amit more vulnerable? To get out, Amit should just have to break the person like they broke the statue. Maybe not just like the statue. It'd be pretty hard to spike a person into the ground with that much force.
We need more avatars than we have left.
My DM to James Cameron somehow makes its way into this episode. Amit starts sucking up all these souls and grows super tall, which I thought was weird on its own, but then Khonshu does the same thing after eating 0 souls, so now we have no idea if the soul munching was necessary or all for show. I'm gonna go with yes. I'm sending the needlessly aggressive deployment of this wing-sword combination as a potential hazard and public nuisance. Falcon and the Lunar Soldier. This is a great moment for representation, so I'm taking a sin off for the kid out there that feels in this moment included in the cultural phenomenon that is the superhero genre. But this kid also stayed in harm's way to ask this question, and that's not the type of curiosity we want to encourage. This is the equivalent of trapping a few feathers. It's not even the meat of the wing. I mean, her arm. Basically, Scarlet Scarab can't wriggle out of this one because plot. The fight between Khonshu and Amit seems mostly inconsequential. The literal god fight takes a backseat to the avatars. And while it's nice to see that Marvel is more aware of the inherent problems here than DC, this story seems to be trying to ignore it. Okay, buddy, make sure you really test the bulletproof nature of that wing before trying her legs, hands, or any other exposed body parts. Yeah? Show subverts the whole how's he gonna get out of this one by not showing it at all and asking us to just assume that whatever happened was cool for the millionth time.
What the hell was that?
The viewer's reaction to this scene somehow makes its way into the episode. Hamid is dragging away what looks like an unconscious Khonshu. Unconscious shoe? But how does that even happen? Can gods be knocked unconscious? I suppose this could all just be a metaphysical battle being presented to human eyes in a way that can be easily comprehended, but why?
Get Harrow. I know how to stop Amit.
That probably wouldn't bother Layla. Judging by the way Harrow's neck stays perfectly straight as Mark lifts him, I'm fairly certain rigor mortis has already set in.
Yeah, I don't think you know as much as you think you do.
Who? Me? Oh no, I know exactly what's going on. I have a firm grasp on what's real and what's actually just in Mark, Steven, or Mystery Player number 3's head. I mean, I could totally explain it to you, but it'd take far too long, really, and I wouldn't want to bore you. Here's what we'll do. When you figure it out, come back and tell me, and we'll compare notes, you know, just so that I know that you know, and we'll be avoiding spoiling anything you didn't realize you didn't know, you know?
We'd rather go save the world.
Saying this after you've decided to no longer be the Moon Knight is like taking your glass-filled shoes off after you've already suffered massive blood loss.
Meet my friend, Jake Lockley.
Hoy te toca perder.
Show does not end with a Moon Knight will return, leaving me with so many unanswered questions. Why are Mark and Steven unaware of Oscar the Grouch? Is he another coping mechanism created by Mark? If so, why is he speaking Italian? Why did the Egyptian gods intervene with Amit's plans but not Thanos? And when will we see the glorious Hippo Lady again? Serving Amit is tough business. Long nights, strange hours, and even stranger places. If you'd told me one day I'd be snatching souls straight out of people's bodies, I'd have had a good chuckle. But that's the thing about life sometimes. It takes you down the road less traveled, and sometimes it takes you off the road completely. And when I go off-road, I always depend on my Ford Raptor, built to survive the wrath of the gods, built for tough.
They do not see what lies ahead when sun has failed and moon is dead.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Itty bitty living space.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
You don't need to see his identification. We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
You shall not pass!
Open sesame!
You don't need him anymore, Mark.
I need my right-hand man back.
New teeth. That's weird. So where was I?
Oh no. Mother puss bucket.
Nobody steps on a church in my town! Beat him up! Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
I'm really jazzed about showing you these new skill sets we have.
Show me what you got!